Now, COVID cases have fallen for the seventh day in a row across the UK, but the number of deaths has risen to its highest level in more than 4 months. Latest figures show there were 23,500 new cases in the last 24 hours. 131 deaths were reported, while the number of COVID patients in hospital has also gone up. Meanwhile, many firms say they're worried about how the rules on self-isolation have been handled. Our business correspondent Paul McNamara has been talking to the boss of Iceland, who's got deep concerns about the promised new testing regime. Paul, what's he telling you?
Yeah, well, daily the government is announcing more and more exemptions for more and more industries or key workers who would not have to self-isolate if they get pinged, provided that they can get tested daily. This is to keep the nation ticking over. Remember the latest statistic, there were more than 600,000 people self-isolating. And then we started to see those pictures emerging last week of supermarket shelves emptying. And supermarket depots were the very first group to be told about a week ago that they would get these, what they called workplace daily contact testing sites. Well, the boss of Iceland has just told me, almost a week later, he hasn't seen any of these sites.
We just don't have clarity on this issue. I've yet to see where these testing facilities are. I've heard some big numbers banded around, but I don't actually know where these additional testing centres are going to be. We've not received any information about these additional testing centres. They've not yet materialised, and to me, it feels a bit like spin.
He made the point that actually if you get those testing sites at depots, it's almost pointless if lots of supermarket staff stacking shelves still have to isolate. Now remember, there are two schemes. One scheme for the likes of depots that would count towards all workers, and one where if you're a firm that has a few workers that are key workers and you can email the government. Well, that second scheme also applies to Iceland. This is what Mr. Walker had to say about that.
We wrote to DEFRA last week, by the way, and we haven't heard anything back. So I hold kind of little faith in their current solution, which is that we need to write to DEFRA with named individuals asking for exemption. When you employ 30,000 people, that's simply not pragmatic.
So, Paul, what's the government got to say about all this?
Well, we put all of that to the government. A spokesperson said over 500 priority test sites have been identified, not that they're actually going ahead, across supermarket and wholesale distribution centres, large manufacturing sites and processing plants, and businesses are now receiving tests and starting to test.
Paul, thanks very much.